Looking first at the iTree results, not surprisingly, the city's gray infrastructure, such as buildings and other inanimate components, prevail in all four sectors, thus obstructing large percentages of iTree plots. It's not clicking. Here we go. Parks, the blue bars, and grass, the orange bars, dominate the city's green areas across all four sectors. This is especially important not only for all urban life forms, but especially to the physical and mental health and the overall well-being of Santo Domingo's human population. Speaking of the city's human population, people and their residences, which include private homes, multifamily apartment buildings, condominiums, and such, are prevalent in all four sectors, much more so than commerce and industry. Did I just, hang on, I gotta go back. Here we go. Making Santo Domingo more attractive to local visitors and international tourists. Santo Domingo, you can see by the blue bars, is people-friendly. Whereas the automobile, let me see, hang on, I'm a little behind, okay. Whereas the automobile remains the main source of Santo Domingo's ambient noise, the numbers of and street noise from the more affordable motorcycle, the red bar, are rapidly increasing. Counterintuitively, the people pollution, the green bar, is more prominent than even the truck pollution. However, it's important to emphasize that people pollution is a broad term that encompasses diverse behaviors ranging from horn honking, often followed by very explicit words and less than appropriate gestures, boombox radios, and more so in recent years, external speakers so large they need a pickup truck to accommodate them. To determine the effects of Santo Domingo's ambient noise on birds and people, we use two methods, a qualitative 3-level ambient noise detection index and a quantitative integrating sound level meter using LEQ technology, both of which led to two important discoveries. Both the qualitative noise level index and the quantitative sound level measuring device were highly correlated, both showing that as ambient noise levels increase, bird detections decrease. Results from our sound level index suggest that the city's ambient noise levels may be tracking the onset and the path of the COVID-19 virus. We use two field methods to study Santo Domingo's urban birds. Although we periodically ban birds around the city to determine levels of disease and ectoparasites, among other objectives, we monitor birds mainly using audio-visual surveys. We established some 70 randomly dispersed bird plots, the green circles, around iTree plots, the red circles, in 4 sectors of the city, and this is an important point, along an urban to peri-urban gradient. In other words, from the inner city out to the suburbs. Plots were placed randomly, with some plot centroids falling in green areas, whereas others fell on rooftops. Here's a brief overview of our 4-sector study area. The most urban, or inner city sector, Ciudad Colonial, borders the Osama River to the east. The landlocked, more commercial sector, San Carlos, lies to the north. Sectors Ciudad Nueva and Gascue, an affluent suburb to the south and west, border the Caribbean Sea. Please note that, not unexpectedly, fewer birds were detected in the northern landlocked and more commercial San Carlos sector. In 2005, a former mayor of Santo Domingo declared the city a bird-friendly city. It's not only people-friendly, it's bird-friendly, because of its lush green areas and the opportunities they afford to promote the preservation and management of the city's natural and cultural heritage through wise planning and public education programs. But just how bird-friendly is Santo Domingo? We've registered almost 700,000, go back, I think I'm leaving my pointer on, I'm sorry, I'm leaving the pointer on the arrow. So we've detected about 700,000 birds of about 100 species over a 6-year period. The expected increase in the number of bird detections along the urban to peri-urban gradient was confirmed. That is, with the exception of the colonial city, where the ubiquitous rock or feral pigeon, Columba livia, is responsible for the highest detection rate from among all 4 sectors. Feral pigeons constitute 52%, or more than half, of all bird detections in those 4 sectors. What other species besides feral pigeons constitute the city's highest detections? Although 2 introduced species are among the 4 most common species, as expected, more importantly, the 2nd and 3rd most documented species are 2 iconic endemics. Finally, did someone say McDonald's? Note the mourning dove feeding on a scrap of French fry plucked from a takeout styrofoam burger box in the background. That's that annoying white background on the mourning dove. We've now introduced the 10 most common species making up Santo Domingo's avian community, but how are the 4 main categories of birds distributed among the 4 sectors? Detections of resident species are double those of migrants, but both residents and migrant birds are dominant in all 4 sectors. Only a few species in both groups are observed in only 1 to 3 sectors. It's important that endemics and introduced species are also found in all 4 sectors, which is good for avitourism and bird awareness and appreciation in general, but less beneficial to native plants and animals. To quantify even more Santo Domingo's avian community, we use the familiar Shannon-Wiener index to compare species diversity among the city's main avian status groups. This index combines species richness, or the number of species in a given area, and their relative abundance, in our case, among 4 sectors. Evenness is also a measure of relative abundance of the different species. These 2 indices clearly reveal that Santo Domingo's birds are highly diverse and amply distributed among all 4 sectors. That is, in general, one can observe virtually the same species and similar numbers of each species in all 4 sectors, which is good for city planning and management, as well as avitourism and bird watching in general across the city. Only 3 of Santo Domingo's dominant tree species, and they're dominant by, they use what's called an importance value index. It's based on the percentage of the tree species to all the trees, plus the leaf area index. But only 3 of these Santo Domingo trees species were used by the city's most common birds. And importantly, 7 of the 8 tree species that are used by birds are introduced. Note also that there's an almost a negative correlation between bird detections and tree importance values. The reddish numbers in the first column toward the bottom. And also, as I mentioned, the trees, the dominance is plotted by using the population percent plus the leaf area index. Because a major theme of our presentation is World or International Migratory Bird Day, which took place in North America and in the Caribbean last Saturday on the 8th of May, here we emphasize that the 4 most common Nearctic neotropical migrants, and the barn swallow is not noted here, wouldn't fit, comprise 84% of all migrant detections. That's land birds and water birds combined. And that the most common migrants, most often documented, are found in introduced broadleaf trees. And these include mostly fruit trees. And the numbers in the parentheses happen to be the ranges. Jerry, I think we're back to you. Yes.